Seja bem-vindo à terceira aula de navegação. Como eu disse nas outras aulas, ele é um pouquinho elementar, mas tem informações relevantes e até uma maneira de relembrar matérias de navegação da aviação. Vamos começar a aula. Let's go. We're going to talk about visual navigation procedures. Basic procedures. Your aim is to navigate effectively and with minimal interruption to the main task of flying the airplane safely. To achieve this, you must be competent at flight planning, map reading, use radio navigation aids to assist and confirm your map reading, NDB, VOR, and so. Making corrections to your track so as regain planned track and reach your destination. And use data reckoning to back up your other visual navigation methods. You can usually like data reckoning is related to when you're lost, but you can even look around and look back to your map just for making the overall increase in safety. If you want to. Normal en route navigation. You're gonna fly accurate headings and periodically identify landmarks and fix your position. Effects of wind on navigation accuracy. Navigation calculations are planned to compensate for wind effects at the flight plan stage to make your calculations. And look into your map as well. We use a forecast wind to keep your planned track. The actual track made good over the ground may differ, and the difference between the planned track and the track made good is called the track error. Track made good is what you end up doing if you're usually when you're drift out of your track or your planned route. That means you're drifting off your planned track, or you're calculated wrongly your planned drift, because we calculated the wind, then we calculate the drifting is like how much drift you're gonna need to correct, and you're doing it wrong, so because you planned your drift wrongly. Old guys nowadays, I don't believe these guys are flying anymore, but how hard it was to fly back then, like 30s, 40s. You gotta do safety checks. For your own safety, constant checking procedure must become second nature. Before though, that is does not become such a routine that you don't actually carry it out fully or fail to notice when something is amiss. So I learned the clear off checks means compass, logbook, engine, altitude, radio, orientation, fuel, and as my instructor Kent Bowen told me in Australia, field as well. Fuel and field, because you look for a field as well all the time, a suitable field to land if you're in an emergency. Those are all the main things you should be like checking each 15 minutes. I miss the terminology. Routine in-flight navigation. Departure procedures. It will depend upon the circuit direction and the type of airdrome. It's how you leave your airport or your runway. Usually airport, because method 1, turning in the direction of the circuit. Very popular. 2. Climbing straight ahead 3 nautical miles, like 1,500 feet above airdrome level. The actual time of departure, the ATD, on method 1 will be over the airfield when you cross on top of the airfield. And method 2 is also established on your track. You even have this image I took from my book. So you see when you start clocking your flight time to your destination, actual time of departure. Cruise procedure. On reaching the selected or cleared cruise level, do the following. Check the area QNH is set to subscale on the altimeter on flight level. Set cruise power and trim the airplane. Trim for the attitude. Carry out the clear off check. Check the estimated for the planned checkpoint or turning point. Check planned track has been achieved. Check what is your track made good. Lanes of entry. As shown on visual charts, it's only related to visual charts, right? They're designed to simplify navigation procedure for VFR pilots flying near busy control zones. You must operate on the VFR, must keep to the right, like driving on the United States. I even put it that because when I flew in Australia, you drive on the left side, but when you're flying, you keep to the right side. Operate on the height that is assigned on the visual chart. Height. It's written wrongly here. It's high here, but it's height. In-flight navigation techniques. Flying heading accurately. Keep the wings level. Check drift soon after departure and adjust your heading as necessary. Map reading carefully as the flight progresses. Even if you can find a pinpoint is a good word for reference. If you can find a pinpoint due to lack of landmarks, at least know your dead reckoning position based on estimated track and ground speed since your last fix. Maintain an in-flight log, recording all headings flown in time. You gotta log, write down the headings and time flown. Anticipate checkpoints some minutes ahead of the estimated for them and commence a good lookout, not only ahead of the aircraft, but also to each side of the track. If you deviate your original flight plan, notify your new intentions to the appropriate air traffic service unit. I like these terms here. Maximum range and endurance flying. Range flying is concerned with maximum distance from available fuel. Range is related to space, like the range of the craft, how many miles, kilometers it can fly. Endurance flying is concerned with maximum time for available fuel. Endurance flying, usually you configure the aircraft for endurance flying when you're holding. So you want to stay as much as you can flying, not really worried about the distance you're gonna fly. You just want to keep in the sky as much as you need. Because if you want to fly as much further out, the maximum distance for the minimum fuel, you're gonna fly for range. Diversion procedures. This is a very convenient procedure when you face a bad weather on your planned route. Diversions, you gotta do that all the time when you are having some issues on your track, or if you need to change your destination, so you do a diversion. You should deviate 60 degrees off your track to clear off your obstacles and regain your heading, and fly parallel to your original planned route. And do not forget to log it thoroughly. This is more when you have like a bad weather. You do this. You open 60 degrees to do left or right, and time it, then fly parallel to original track. For example, here you have a bad weather. This here, if I'm coming from the south, I would definitely make 60 degrees to the right. Alternate airdrome. Occasionally a diversion from the flight planned route may be necessary, such as when proceeding to an off-track alternate airdrome due to deteriorating visibility, weather, or running out of daylight. Mechanical problems that make an early landing advisable. Sudden illness of a passenger. Revised weather forecast showing crosswind company will be exceeded. So diversions is necessary not only when you have bad weather on your route, but the first the previous slide is diversion when you're gonna keep going to whatever you want to go. You're not gonna stop going to your destination airdrome. Here you're talking about the alternate airdrome. You're talking about you diversion. You divert to a new airdrome. Understand procedure for operations conducted below about 5,000 feet above ground level. Accurate descent calculation are usually unnecessary. Yes, you're just gonna eyeball it. Eyeball it. I'm just gonna judge. Descending from high level fly, however, descent planning assumes a greater significance. That you must nominate a top of descent, usually calculating your descent rate about 500 feet per minute. So that's the end of the class. Espero que tenham gostado dessa série de 3 vídeos de navegação. Como sempre, peço para se inscrever no canal, comentar, né? E agora seguir no Instagram também. Navegação no Brasil é uma matéria muito difícil no piloto comercial. E eu não enfrentei essa dificuldade. Eu até observo hoje em dia, eu vejo os estudantes passando por aquele momento, né, de cálculo de subida, combustível. Eu acho aquilo uma bobagem imensa, ultrapassada até a ANAC. A prova mais difícil que eu tive na Austrália não foi navegação. Navegação é até bem simples, né? A grande dificuldade vem em performance, que é o peso e balanceamento levado ao limite de você tirar peso, botar peso na aeronave, botar um banco, tirar banco. Se eu botar alguma coisa no compartimento do nariz, da asa, não sei o que lá, eles são muito ligados a isso, a performance da aeronave, a performance de pouso, se ela vai conseguir passar obstáculos, essas coisas. Eu até acho isso até mais útil no dia a dia. Eu tive pouco conhecimento disso, que eu não fiz o meu PP, não falo muito pouco disso. Acho que é uma coisa que a gente aprende mais na prática, mais no aeroclube. Mas, enfim, eu achei muito importante a gente estudar performance e com certeza eu vou acabar fazendo um vídeo sobre isso em breve. Muito obrigado pela atenção. Estou aberto a sugestões e eu vou estar sempre comentando os vídeos que vão sair, o que você tem que esperar dos próximos vídeos lá no Instagram. Até mais, um prazer. Tchau, tchau.